Countdown done. Hello everybody, welcome. Just clicking an extra button there to get all my computers set up the way that I want them. I'm going to pop out the chat. Vittal's on the Zoom session with me. So I'm going to bring him on in just a moment. Then we'll get an AVDW check. AVDW stands for Audio Visual DVR, which I need to go, I already turned that on. And the W is watch. So I have to put my watch down on the desk because there's a couple of people that have my cell phone number. If they need to bring my attention to something, they are able to text to me. But if I'm wearing the watch, I don't hear it on my cell phone, or it doesn't ring. It just vibrates on my watch, and I won't notice that during the session. So let's bring Vittal up, and then we'll get the AVDW check. So I'll punch the Zoom button here, and I've got to go unmute him, and there he is. Hi, Vittal.
Hello, sir. Very, very good evening for you, and good morning for me.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much, sir.
So it's 5 p.m. here for me, and it's 5:30 a.m. for you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you told me that you normally get up early like this, so
yes, sir. I like to get rise early.
Decided to do this, and last time it was late evening for you, and there's a lot of noise going on outside, and fortunately that all stopped when we started the video.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to bring up my Zoom, my chat window here, and see what people are telling us about AVDW. At the moment, I don't see things in there about AVDW, so I'm going to give people a chance to answer that. And that means in the chat room, tell us is the audio okay for both myself and Vittal? Can you see us okay? Is the stream coming through and all that kind of stuff? And then the DVR, if somebody could test the DVR. And I'm going to zoom in on this chat a little bit to make it a little more readable. And there's somebody that hit me up in orange. Chris says, I'm glad you do the gurgle earthing before the stream. Some people's live stream, the ads cut the first part off. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so there's an extra benefit by having that Google Earth. Then, did you get that moonshine I sent you from Chris? No, I didn't. I'm not sure you have the right address. And let's see, and yeah, Carrie doesn't jump into the live stream topic either, perhaps for the same reason. I don't know if that's it. Chris Garrett seems eager for this show. Good night, all. Multitasking today, taking a seminar, watching the stream for Ida. Blackwatch, oh goodness, Doug has found another button to push. And let's see, there's the moonshine question. Hi, Doug and all in chat. I just had my ISP upgrade me from 50 megabits per second for 100 megabits per second for only $14 more per month. I'm a little bit worried about that, Greg Guy, because I'm not sure I can talk that fast to justify that speed, but I'll try. No, I won't. I won't do good with that. All good, all good. So that's Chris and Gary saying the AVDW is check is good. Blackwatch from India with Vittal. Who's this sir character? Anyways, Doug is not Cindy Pote. Yeah, okay, that's Blackwatch being Blackwatch humor there. DVR good. And then smile on your face. I figured you have some moonshine. Oh, that's what Chris is referencing. And Zavi Manor is here, so hello. So at the moment, the waiting room for Zoom is turned on. If anybody comes in, you're going to be in the waiting room for a little while until Vittal and I get some things started here. So I'm going to go pull up the description. Go
sir,
ahead.
Small question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you please help me with that live chat channel LW?
Oh, yes. So let's see, you're not on the YouTube video yet. Okay, so in your address bar for your browser, type youtube.com, then a /, that's the one on the question mark key, L, as in live, W as in window, T as in training, D is in Doug, B is in Betts. And when you press enter, that should take you straight to my channel on YouTube.
Yes, sir. I have logged into your channel.
Okay, then the this live stream should be right up at the top front of that.
It's asking me to sign in. So I'll just log into my account just a second.
That should be signing into your YouTube account probably.
Yeah. 1 second, sir.
That way you don't see the commercials. Well, if you have a paid YouTube account. Okay, while you're doing that, Vittal, I'm going to read through the email questions that you sent me. You already know what that is.
Yes, sir.
Did you find the video?
No, sir. I'm just about to log in. It's a little bit troubling me. Just a second.
Okay. Well, you can do that while I'm reading the questions that you sent to me. You don't need to pay attention to this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Vittal says, question 1, sir, I'm trying to do the following concepts. Whenever I install operating system like Windows 11 or Windows 10, I have to go through the process of installing all the drivers and applications in my local system. During this process, I have to give the key number and go through the entire process for a couple of hours. As you have suggested yesterday in our live session that I can clone the disk and stores an image and implement it. But I'm thinking a bit differently. Can you please help me with tools or software that can be used to accomplish this task? All the tools and drivers must be integrated with the operating system. Along with the operating system, it must install without prompting keys. Unattended installation. To do that, any software required? Can you please help me, sir? And the answer is yes. Question 2, as a service engineer, there are situations where I have to visit client's place and install operating system and install all drivers and applications. Searching for drivers take a lot of time, can make OS image with universal drivers integrated into it so that drivers get installed along with operating system. There are things we can do along those lines. I suspect we're not going to get that far along in this process today. Question 3. In Windows Controller, we have turn Windows features on or off. We get a list of features to be installed according to our need. My question is, can we integrate our own application like Microsoft Office, Adobe Acrobat, so that we can install by clicking any option like that? There is a curious question. It's too much inconvenience. Please ignore questions. That one we cannot do. We cannot add it to the Windows features list, but we can accomplish what you're asking for. Pretty close to what you're asking for, maybe even better than what you have in mind. That's kind of a question mark. Depends upon what we get to through as we go along here. So now I'm going to go back to chat because there's been a couple things here. Let's see, Chris, I may not be here long. It's 8 p.m. I usually lay down about 9 p.m. and watch TV. And let's see, nothing else in orange there. Oh, here's orange. Zvi says, I think you should give an update on the previous issue that was with the government site. Oh, yes. Vittal, you sent me an email letting me know what happened when you tried using that portable Internet Explorer that was on USB. So why don't you go ahead and tell the group how that worked out?
Yeah, sir, I tried, but it's not working. Same, sir. I have put your mail across stating that it is not working.
Yes. So that did not solve the issue. So that's still an open issue. We have a little bit of a handicap in dealing with that issue because it's a government site that you have access to with your credentials. Number 1, you have to be in India. Number 2, you have to be at your MAC address. Number 3, you have to have your credentials. So we can't test that, but there was that one thing that we came across in that video that was somebody's website that would let us test ActiveX controls. So I suspect if we try to get Windows 11, if we can find a Windows 11, a website that we can go to with Windows 11, those of us, anyone watching this video or watching it later, to test an ActiveX control with Windows 11, and if you can find a way to make it work, then that might be the solution to Vittal. And a little bit more that you might, the people who watch that video might not have caught on to, is the reason that you want this and why it would be so convenient for you is that you are a service provider to the general public when they want to pay their bills to the government, which includes utility bills.
Yeah.
They can come to you and make those payments through you. So you might be needing to go there multiple times a day. And the problem you're having on that website was just in one feature. It was only reprinting receipts. Everything else on that site works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the question comes up from people, well, why not just have a Windows 10 computer on your desk as well? Well, I'm just going to guess your workspace just would make that a real nuisance. And also, that website is, for you to log on to it, they in a sense use two-factor authentication in a different way than what we know in the United States, because they actually have your MAC address of your computer. So for you to have a Windows 10 computer, you'd have to have that website keyed to that MAC address as well. And you do a lot of other things on your main computer, which is Windows 11 now. And the reason you need and want Windows 11 is because you teach computer classes using Windows 11.
Yes, sir.
So your part of your business is very focused on Windows 11 at this time, and part of your business is very focused on that government website. And the reason why you need to be able to reprint receipts is because when the people make their payments, the first attempt to print the receipt sometimes doesn't work. And so you need to go be able to reprint it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, you've got a unique situation. So we'd like to find an answer for that. We don't have the answer yet. So you're using some other method to deal with it, right?
Yes, sir.
Currently.
I'm using multiple browsers now. The print page setup problem I solved myself in Chrome. There is one option where custom settings are there. I can manually adjust the page and print. That is worked out. Only reprinting receipt, I'm facing problem. That's all.
Okay, so you've got Chrome working except for reprinting the receipt.
Yeah.
So what happens now if you need to reprint this receipt?
Actually, there is one more government site, which is our electricity department. After 24 hours, duplicate receipt will be generated there. I have to request the customer to wait for 24 hours to regenerate the bill and hand out to them.
Okay.
At times, people come from very long distances. They may not able to come. So I'll post them on WhatsApp or mail. But I'm managing like this at time being.
Okay.
Without any hassles, I'm able to manage.
All right, let's come back here and look at a couple other things in chat. Try as you might, you will not break Windows 11 security to the MAC address and ActiveX. No way. And he might be right. Blackwatch, a government officer trying to break a government site. All right. Now, but then I'll take exception to that because we're not trying to break the security about the MAC address. It's just ActiveX with Windows 11, and maybe there's no way to do it. But just because somewhere it says that we can't do it, it's not always the end of the story. All right, so let's talk about the subject at hand. Actually, did you get the YouTube video up yet?
Yeah, sir. Okay. I got it, sir.
Good. And so you've got the sound turned off so it's not coming through your microphone.
Yes, sir.
Right?
I'm muted, sir.
Okay. Let's see, where do I have this at? I'm going to punch a button here and see if it's, this one. Okay, so here I'm, Zivi, we just answered the question, why not set up another computer? His workspace just doesn't make that convenient to do. All right, so here on my screen I've got a part of the Windows 10 startup screen, the out-of-box experience. Do you know the term OOBE?
Yes, sir.
OOBE, out-of-box experience? Yeah, you do. Okay, so on this computer that I'm showing here, I've already had this computer completely up and running on Windows 10. I've installed a couple of programs on it. And then I performed a Sysprep on it and then restarted the computer. So after restarting the computer, this is the first thing it came up to. So I'm going to go ahead and answer yes, continue in English. Let's see, I got wrong mouse. And oh, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go quiet for a moment. I gotta read a text message from a client. What is she saying? Where is this? Not that one. Come over here. Delay. Gotta see how urgent this is from this client because I know she's got an issue going on today. There it is. Oh, I'm gonna let that wait. Okay, so continue and select the language, English, yes. So all I'm showing here is that I already had this Windows 10 all completely set up, and by using Sysprep, it actually reinitializes or re-engages, whatever you want to say, the out-of-box experience, which means all of this startup stuff. Skipping a second keyboard layout. Now we have some important setup to do. Another suggestion in the chat from Zvi, can he install VM on another computer, another OS for this computer? Sure like to find a more direct, simple way to do it than that. And yeah, so let's move on. And accepting the license agreement. And Chris Garrett in chat, this is something I've been wondering about, setting up OOBE like manufacturers do on new systems. That's definitely what we're dealing with today. So this is a Windows 10 Pro, so it's asking if I want to do personal use or set for an organization. I'm going to choose personal use, and all I'm doing here is just showing the out-of-box experience. Now it's asking to add an account. I'm going to choose offline account and continue with limited experience in the bottom left corner. Now for people who are not familiar with it, stop, slow down, what is this? A lot of the people watching this will, if you're interested in this, being able to create images for other computers from an existing computer, you're probably already familiar with this. So now it's asking who's going to use this computer. I'm going to try calling this user and click next. And it says please type a different username. It's not allowing me to use user. The reason for that is that the user account that I originally had set up on this computer was called user. So I have to use a different name. So if you're doing this where you're creating an image from an existing computer because you want to install it on other computers, you're going to use a username on the original computer that is not what you're going to want to use on the new computers. You're going to be using Bill or Janice or whatever username you're going to use, or sign into a Microsoft account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this user 1. You know what? I think I might already have that too. Yeah, still says type a different username. So I'm going to go to user 2, click next. It accepted that. I'm not going to do any password. I'm going to click next. Now, the evidence that you're going to see that tells you, yes, indeed, this is not a fresh installation, is you're going to see I already have some programs installed. 1 or 2. Gary says that I'm dropping out. Well, let's see. Take a look at Stream Health. It says Stream is healthy. Does anybody else find the video dropping out or choppy? So for diagnostic data, my habit is Send required diagnostic. I allow tailored experiences. I allow location. I don't do find my device, and I don't do inking and typing. Not interested in debating those choices. People do whatever they want to do is fine. And then click accept. Now, all of those questions, all of those interactions that we're doing during the setup, we'd also like to not have to do all that. And so we're going to talk about that today too. And that has to do with an answer file or unattended XML. All right, so here it's coming up with the initializations. We're getting everything ready for you. That's going to take a little while. And on this particular screen, I don't have the Zoom session as an inset, so we'll get back to Vittal on screen in a minute. Gary says you're dropping out. Chris testing. Blackwatch, you flunked your test. Ooby dooby doo. Chris says I dropped out, buffered a little, not my in this time. I'm going to punch over here to Zoom so I can see the CPU readings. I'm seeing 58%, 43%. GPU is always showing lower in the low 30s. Those numbers okay. And the stream, YouTube Studio says stream is healthy. So I don't see anything from my end that's telling me why it's dropping out for 2 people reported that. 3 people. Javi says there was a drop. All right, so yeah, back here on Chris's comment, something I've been wondering about, and these others are about buffering. Keep putting in there that when you experience buffering, keep letting me know about that as it happens. All right, so coming back to this computer, it's at the desktop now, and here you see the DougBetts remote icon is on the desktop already. That's evidence that this is not a fresh Windows 10 install. Also, whoops, I've got to use the right mouse. There, the DougBetts remote icon, that allows me to establish a remote connection. And if I click on the start button, let's see, not that way. Let's do Windows key R, appwiz.cpl. This computer is fairly fresh. It's a new Dell microcomputer. It's one of these microcomputers you've seen me sell to clients before. And this Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit is already installed. All right, so let's come and let's see. Can we could connect remotely to your computer, Vittal, but before we do that, I'm going to show some web pages over here and some information from Microsoft. Now I've got a bunch of tabs open here. They're not really lined up in any particular order. Here in docs.microsoft.com, there's a section called Desktop Manufacturing. Can I, let's see. Yeah, I can't highlight that, but there's a section here called Desktop Manufacturing. And then there's a bunch of sub-items below that. And this is all what has to do with creating an image and automating setup. So this is where Dell and HP, this is the steps that they would use. When you buy a Dell or HP computer, you start them up and they have already their applications installed. So that's what this is how it's done. They may have some other methods that they do it. There might be some third-party utilities for doing it. I'm not sure about that, but this is what I know to do. And I looked at doing this many years ago. It might have been with Windows XP, for all I know, because I felt that I kept having to install Windows on clients' computers and doing the same kind of installs over and over and configuration adjustments. And I looked at this back then and I decided not to pursue it because I just didn't think it was going to suit my needs well enough. Because when I install Windows for clients, it's often on a different brand computer, different model computer, different software that they're going to use, and it just felt more reliable for me to do fresh install all the time. I've been looking into this since your question came to me, Vittal, and I think I'm going to seriously revisit this issue for myself. I think that I'm probably not going to try to completely set up a computer the way I want it for a particular client and then create an image, but rather than that, do what I call my in-lab setup. So let me show a little bit about that. I'm going to right-click on Microsoft Word down here, and I should be able to find, let's see, new computer. Let's see, add new user. Oh, new computer setup lab work. So when I'm working on a new computer for a client, I am doing all of this stuff before I even do any specific installations for their office. Here, this one, delete task scheduler bloatware, record Win version, storage sense, change computer name, disable all notifications, configure Microsoft Edge. So lots of configuration stuff that I do on all computers before I even specifically setting up for their office. So what I'm thinking, well, this would also include Windows updates. What I'm thinking I want to do is create an image with all of this stuff done so that I can just install that image and then turn the computer on and go through the out-of-box experience for that client. One step more beyond that is to use the unattended.xml, so that makes the out-of-box experience even quicker, meaning I don't have to answer all those questions, because I don't want to answer English, I don't want to skip the extra keyboard and all that kind of stuff. I don't need to do that over and over. So let's come back to now I don't have this fully in operation yet. I've been reviewing this, relearning it in preparation for this live stream today. And there's a piece of it that I'm still not up to speed on, and I'll get to that detail later. So here's one web page that I've been looking at, and then here, unattended, this is just another section within the same documentation, and this has to do with the unattended setup so that you can skip some of those steps in the out-of-box experience. We're not going to read through all that now, and I suspect that our session today might trigger a few more videos. Not necessarily live stream. I may do some of them as tutorial videos. So then here's create or open an answer file. One of the things that's a little bit frustrating in figuring out how to do this is there's lots of different ways to do it. And the method to do it that's going to be easiest for any particular person under any particular circumstances can be a little challenging to figure out. It's like you got to understand the whole range of options before you can say, oh, this is the way I want to do it, obviously. But there's a whole range of options because Microsoft doesn't know the one person that cares about this. But of course, a lot of people care about it. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Here's using Sysprep and deploying using Macrium Reflex. So now this is in the knowledge base on macrium.com's website. I'm going to make our picture-in-picture a little bit smaller there. Now this one is really kind of nice because this is all of it right here. That's the whole thing right here. This is just Sysprep though, And we can do, Sysprep is already on your computer. It's already on everybody's computer with Windows 10. And it's very quick and easy to do the Sysprep. And what we do basically is run Sysprep, which is a tool that comes with Windows 10. And then you shut the computer down. And then put a memory, put a Macrium Reflect USB into a USB port and boot the computer on that USB memory stick. Create an image, just basic, create an image with Macrium Reflect. Now you can restore that image to another computer, doesn't have to be the same make and model, and then turn it on and you'll go through the normal out-of-box experience, except that it's going to have all of the programs and settings that you have on this computer that you ran Sysprep on. Now, Vittal, you told me that you have a computer there that you want to do this with, that you want to be the master, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we could have me connect to that and we'll demonstrate Sysprep on that computer. Now, I'm guessing you probably don't have a USB memory stick with Macrium Reflect on it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you do?
Yes. No, I don't have, sir.
Oh, you don't have. Okay. Do you have a USB memory stick that we could wipe out?
Yeah, I have, sir.
All right.
I purchased yesterday only.
We may wind up doing that. As I told you before we went live, though, I have an issue that I might wind up having to cut the live stream short before we get to that point, but perhaps we'll do that. Now I'm going to come back and show a few more of these tabs that I have open. Now this part with Sysprep, that doesn't give us the ability to do an unattended out-of-box experience, and that has been the challenge for me, trying to figure out how to do an unattended XML in combination with Macrium Reflect. So I got a little more homework to do on that point. Coming back to this one, how to create unattend.xml manually. Many places I've gone to have said there's lots of different ways you could create an unattend XML. And then they show me the same one over and over and over. And they don't, and that same one, I can show you a little bit about that today. It's got some complications to it. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Presuming we last that long with it. Then here's a similar information from Windows Central, how to create an unattended installation of Windows 10. They talk about out-of-box experience, and the thing is they come up with this same process of using the Windows ADK installer kit. That stands for Assessment and Deployment Kit. And they show how to do that. Now, I already have installed this deployment tools on this computer that I just demonstrated the out-of-box experience, so I can show you that there. And there's a complication with combining that with Macrium Reflect that I don't have solved yet. Let me see if there's any of these others that I wanted to. This is just another site. Oh, that's still Windows Central. This is from Microsoft downloading the Windows ADK. And we'll go show you that. Oh, PayPal. Is Jeff in chat today? I don't remember seeing Jeff's name in chat. He was asking me to get my PayPal set up, and it is set up. There's a link in the description of the video now for my PayPal account if you'd like to show support for the channel that way. Where was I at? Okay, in chat I was here. Blackwatch, no worries. We have scheduled unattended Zoom due to audio issues. I think he's being funny. Do not forget to include a sys key in your Sysprep. Yeah, and he's being funny. That's a challenge. Sometimes he's coming up with something I really need to pay attention to, and other times he's just joking around. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, Pop-Tarts, whatever. So now let's go. Where do we want to go first? Okay, how about we go ahead and get me connected to that computer of yours, Vittal, that you want to have as the master. Do you have that computer on the internet?
Yeah, sir, I have.
Okay, then go to the website logmein123.com.
Yeah. Just 1 second, sir. I need 1 minute time. Just only
Yeah.
1 minute time.
Go ahead.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so then I'm going to come over to this demo computer. I guess I can call it that. Wrong mouse. I don't know, did you even see me moving that mouse? I don't think so. Yeah, I was moving the mouse on the streaming computer. I have to move this mouse.
Sir, that system is on the other side of that, this thing. Can I turn the monitor and show you, or not necessary? If I connect, that is enough.
Say that again?
Actually, the master computer is on the other side of the desk. It's here.
Okay, so does that mean
it's on the other side of the desk.
Okay.
So
we don't need to see it through your camera if I can connect remotely to it.
Okay, I'll just connect. Can you help me with that 123.com, right, sir?
Yeah, logmein123.com.
1 second.
Let's see, I want to come over here and get to that toolkit. And I got the wrong mouse again. I didn't try finding it through here. Where is it? Windows kits. Okay. Deployment in imaging tools, Windows System Image Manager. Put that over there.
I'm ready. I'm ready, sir.
You ready?
123 login. It is asking for 6-digit code.
Okay. And the code is 287243. And here it starts coming. Let's see, Blackwatch in chat says, I used to use Nlight. I think he probably means Ninite. Not sure about programs though. If it's Ninite, that's just a bunch of utility programs and doesn't include the various configuration settings that I'd like to use. So I never found myself very attracted to Ninite because on my clients' computers, I don't need any of those utility programs and try to avoid them. Yeah,
Okay.
night.
Okay, sir.
Are we getting in there? Okay, yeah. There, I just got a doorbell here and I'll click start. And then launch remote session.
Okay, sir. I'm done.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So now I need not be with the system. I can watch from here from my
That's
desk,
right. You
sir?
can watch from your computer and turn the camera back towards you at your computer because you can watch on the YouTube video. Okay. So then I'm going to bring up a Windows Explorer, File Explorer, and go to C drive, expand the C drive by clicking on that greater than symbol and then greater than symbol next to Windows, and then go down to System 32, right there, and then go down to a folder called Sysprep. So I'm clicking on this code integrity folder there and just type SYS. That gets me right down to the Sysprep folder. Double click on it. So here's the Sysprep program. So it's just right here, easy to get to. You do not need to right click and run as administrator. You can just double click on it and launch it. So I'm just going to click on open. I did a right click there just to show that run as administrator choice. We don't need that. So here's system preparation tool. Enter system out of box experience. The alternative choice is to enter system audit mode. And I don't think we need to go into that for the purposes of this video. It gives you abilities to tweak an existing installation. That's not a very fair representation of what it is. And then generalize, and I actually can't recite off my head, top of my head, generalize, but basically I think it removes some of the choices that you may have already made. And then shutdown options, you're probably going to want to choose shutdown for this process. So if we say do nothing, if we just say quit, it's just going to quit this program. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and we can see how long it takes. That's not going to actually do anything to this. Well, yeah, it does do something to this computer. Next time you start it, it's going to do the out-of-box experience. So no, I better not do it until you decide that it's okay to do that now. So, and when we do the restart, there is surprisingly, I can get connected to it during part of that out-of-box experience, but I already demonstrated that on my computer, so we're probably not going to wind up doing that. But this is where you do the Sysprep. And you click OK there. It's going to go ahead and prepare this computer so that next time you start it, it's going to go through the out-of-box experience. But there are some catches to it. And you want to be sure you first have a full image of the computer as it sits right now before you start experimenting with this, because this does make changes to the computer, and maybe that's going to be a nuisance to you. So I think probably what we're going to wind up doing is downloading Macrium Reflect perhaps and showing that process too.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, I think I'm going to wind up doing some tutorial videos on this whole process where I actually go through the whole thing. But here I'm going to have to pause at this point and start talking through some things. When I started at that other computer, you saw that it would not allow me to enter a username that already exists on that computer. Have to do a different username. Now, when the computer comes up under the new username, can you then log out of that username and log in as the original username? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is yes, but I haven't tested that yet. Any of the icons that are on the desktop right now in the user profile, those aren't going to be on the desktop of the new install with the new username. I'm going to go point that out a little bit, and I think you may already be aware of this a little bit, Vittal. I'm gonna collapse the Windows folder, expand the users folder, and look at this user called Rama. That's apparently who we're logged in as, and go to desktop. So there's all of these icons and folders that are on the desktop for Rama. Now, if you wanted to create an image for your other computers that are in your classroom, for instance, and you want all those files and folders to be on the desktop for every user, then what you could do, and I'm not going to do it, is you could move all of these folders and files into the public folder. When I expand the public folder, you see there is no folder called public desktop, but if you click on public and come up here and click in the address bar, and then at the end of that put a / desktop and press enter, here's the public desktop folder. So you could take all those icons from the desktop folder of that user and drag them into here. Now when you create that image file to install on the other computers, any username is automatically going to have all of those folders and icons. Now maybe it's not right for them to have all of them, but you would pick and choose which ones you want to be a part of the public desktop. Now let's go to talk about another thing that happens. If we go to this Windows folder, we're going back to that Sysprep. I'm going to type SYS to get System32, double click System32, and then type SYS, looking for Sysprep. When you take this computer and actually run Sysprep, it's highly likely that it's going to fail, because there are some programs or configurations that it may have trouble with. So my theory, my plan for this is, like I said earlier, bring up a new computer, do all the configuration changes that I want, and not install any specific software for the user and create that image file then. If Sysprep fails, what's going to happen is inside this Panther folder, there's going to be a log file that will tell you what happened, what went wrong. These log files, let's see, is it, yeah, I think it's setup act actually. I think that is the log file. What's the date on this? 10/20. Ooh, it already created that. Apparently it created that file even though I didn't actually run the Sysprep. I'm going to try double clicking on that and see it did open. All right. Now let's see what it tells us, because I didn't actually run Sysprep, so I'm surprised that it actually shows that. Time is now 10:20, 17:44. This would be, I think, a universal coordinated time. You said you're 5.5 hours ahead of UTC.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And it is 5:47. No, 6:17 now in India. So add 5.5 to 6:17. That's 11 something. So this doesn't look like universal coordinated time unless I did that math wrong. I'm gonna have to call you back. Shutting down Sysprep log, Sysprep dialog box returned false. Oh yeah, so apparently it started recording this just because I opened the Sysprep program, and Sysprep box returned false, indicating that I guess that I exited it without running it. Displaying dialog box for user to choose Sysprep mode and so on. But anyway, if you run Sysprep and it fails, you want to come in here and see why it failed. Now, I did have a failure when I first ran this, and I'm trying to remember what that was. It was pretty easy to identify. I said, okay, I understand why, and I reversed whatever that was. So it can take a little wrestling to get this right, is really the bottom, what I'm trying to get across there. Let's close that. Then, let's see, let's go look at this next piece on my computer. So you're watching this on the YouTube video.
Yes, sir.
This is where we create the unattended XML file.
Yeah.
And that, oh yes,
Is it, sir, is it Mercium Reflect you are using, sir? The software you are using is the Mercium Reflect?
We're not there yet. We're not
Okay,
at Mercium Reflect yet.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, for this System Imaging Manager, maybe we go ahead and download that to your prototype computer so that we're showing that how that's done. Because that's really, that's not bad to do. Does that sound okay to you?
What is the tool you are seeing, sir? Using it, what is the name, sir?
I'm going to show you right here because we're going to go ahead and install it on your computer. Okay. So I'm displaying your computer again. I'm going to go to a new tab, and let's see. I'll do a search for Windows ADK download. So Windows ADK is Assessment and Deployment Kit. Microsoft.com, not Windows Server. Download and install Windows ADK. That's a 2021 date. That looks like the right one. I'm going to right click on that. Let's see. Blackwatch said no, not Nlight installs Windows ISO with drivers and service packs. That might be a piece of the solving the puzzle for me, the thing that I'm stuck at. So we'll come back to that, Blackwatch. Download and install the Windows ADK kit. So down here, get to this link for download the Windows ADK. I'm not reading through all of this now because I'm recollecting that's what I've seen. So here it download the file. I'm going to open the ADK setup.exe. So the thing that we want this for again is to create the unattended XML, and I'm going to be able to show the part that I'm stuck at. Install the Windows Assessment Deployment Kit to this computer, and I don't want to do it on a separate computer. Click Next. Hello, Bill Sunny TT3. I see 16 people watching right now and 8 likes. Thank you everybody for being with us. So here, Windows Kit's privacy, allow Microsoft to collect insights for Windows Kit. So I'm going to answer no to that without even asking you. And then next. License agreement, there's nothing we need to click on at the bottom of that, so just click accept. Hello, Chris Garrett. Okay, so here, all we're interested in is deployment tools. We're not interested in any of the rest of this. For creating the unattended XML, we only need that deployment tools. And then click install. And answer yes.
There's a slight delay in the video, sir. The step which you are seeing.
Oh yeah,
the step on the video.
there should be about a 5 to 10 second delay in the video. Yeah. And I have it set on ultra low.
Okay.
Ultra low latency. The other options are low latency and normal latency. I think Kerry Holzman normally has normal latency, maybe low latency, but because of the Zoom sessions that we're doing, I like ultra low, and that means that I think I'm more susceptible to buffering.
Yes, sir.
So to restate something that for this unattended XML, I've seen in a few places that there's several ways to create this, but I've only seen this one method actually presented by anybody. And I think that if you use the manual method of creating the unattended XML, I think it's a lot of typing of code and very cumbersome. And I think this is going to be a much easier way to do it. The catch is I haven't figured out how to do this with a Macrium Reflect image, because this method requires an ISO. So from the Microsoft website for the media creation tool, we can download an ISO and we can use this tool to create an unattended XML that we can insert into that ISO file. But that doesn't have all of the installations that you and I want to have. So that is my first introduction to the piece that I'm missing right now. We don't need the getting started guide. I'm going to close this. And then Windows key and the letter D for desktop to minimize everything that's open right now. Then I'll go to the Windows Start button. And up here at the top should be the last thing that we installed. Windows System Image Manager. I'll click on that to open that. Zvi says in chat, I sent you an email about ActiveX with Edge with IE mode. I will check that out. Thank you. And as a reminder or piece of information, we already have tried the website that Vittal's having trouble with in IE mode. So far that we haven't been able to solve it with that. And it could be that IE mode with Edge has a limit to what it can do. So here we have this section for create answer file. Create or open an answer file. And when I try to initiate that, let's see, I think we got to go to File, New Answer File. Go to the File menu, choose New Answer File, and it gives me a message here. Editing an answer file without opening a Windows image will result in limited functionality. Do you want to open a Windows image now? Well, if I answer yes, it wants me to point to an ISO file, which we could download from Microsoft. We could download the current Windows 10 ISO file from Microsoft to see how this works. But that doesn't accomplish what we want. So the piece where I'm having a problem, or I've got a gap, is I can create an image file with Macrium Reflect, but that doesn't create an ISO file. That creates a Macrium Reflect image file, and it has a different extension. Now, once I get an answer file, the sweet thing then, the trouble is going to be in creating the answer file. I want an answer file that just has those basic answers, no extra keyboard, English, USA keyboard layout, whatever the other choices are, they're going to be the same on every installation that I do. Once I get that unattended XML file, then what I can do is put it into this Windows Panther folder. Here's this Panther folder here. If I put the unattend.xml file in here, then I can create the Macrium Reflect image, and it's going to work. Because when the out-of-box experience occurs, when I restore that image to another computer, then power it up, go through the out-of-box experience, Windows 10 will look at a variety of different places for the unattended XML file. And if it finds that in the Panther folder, on the image that's being installed, then it appears from what I've read that it will use that file. There's another option where the unattended XML file can be on a USB memory stick, so that while the out-of-box experience is running, it'll look to any USB memory stick into the root folder of that memory stick. If there's an unattended XML file there, it will use that one. But I first have to get a valid unattended XML file. So one way to do it, perhaps, is to download the Windows 10 ISO image, use that to create the unattended XML file, and then copy that file into this folder on the computer that I want to create the image. I think that's the way it's going to work, but I haven't got to that point yet of testing it. Now, I'm inclined next to download Macrium Reflect on your computer.
Yes, sir.
And if we keep going long enough, we can download the ISO file and go ahead and try all of that. If I don't get interrupted with my other potential issue today.
Sir, I have one already downloaded Windows 10 image. Should I copy to that main system? It will be easier
that'd be
for
good.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you could just copy that ISO to this. Is that ISO, well now wait a minute, is that ISO on a USB memory stick?
I have in an external hard drive. I'll just quickly copy it. It takes 5 to 6
You could
minutes.
you just connect the drive. You don't have to copy the ISO file. If we can see that file from this computer, even through a USB port, that's fine.
Okay. So I need 5 minutes time to get my
Yeah,
hard drive
go
and
ahead.
can just connect it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead. I'm gonna take a look at something else, see if there's anybody waiting in the Zoom session. Yes, there is. Somebody. Let's go see who's there. If I can figure out the right. Gary's there. All right. Admit Gary. Yeah, continue with whatever you're doing, Vittal.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And Gary's connecting to audio.
Hello, John.
Hello, Gary. Yeah, Vittal doesn't have his headset on right now. He's working on getting that ISO file ready for us. He might be listening over his speakers. I don't know. Let's see. Have you been adding comments on this subject matter? You guys, your tech department has to be doing something like this, right?
Yes and no. We actually get most of our PCs pre-done.
Oh, they're already set up the way you want them.
Dell will actually make that if you send them enough.
All right.
We buy in thousands at a time, and they actually set it up. But we do have a Sysprep setup that we use. But I was coming back about what he said in your email.
Yeah.
I thought he wanted to add different drivers at different clients and vastly different programs at different clients.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to be a thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was close, you could do it with what we're doing now.
Now there is that other option in Sysprep. Was it called Audit?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
apparently has a way of doing that, but I'm thinking that's more nuisance than it's worth. I would think that when he has another client with specific programs that they want, specific drivers they want, that should be installed on a prototype computer and then create a new Sysprep off of that computer instead of trying to inject programs or drivers into an already existing Windows 10 installation image.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure how all the drivers that he may want to install would work on a, Would
Right.
it take every driver, or would it say, oh, I just need USB driver, for instance?
Now,
I don't think-
one thing I'm not sure, he's got his headset on now, so he might clarify after I say this. With other forms of imaging, creating image files or cloning even, you're cloning for one particular model of computer, and you can restore that image to another computer that's the exact same model, the exact same make and model. But with Sysprep, that kind of breaks those barriers open because it goes through the out-of-box experience. My understanding is Windows 10 will sense what equipment is here, and Windows 10 will go ahead and install the drivers that it knows for that computer. But if the computer needs some drivers that aren't ever included with Windows 10, I think it's a much bigger challenge to try to get that included into a Windows 10 image. Okay, so that ISO has copied across. Vittal, do you have any comments in response to what Gary and I just talked about?
No, sir. Actually, I missed your conversation in the middle. I went there.
Okay.
Initially, I didn't catch up.
That's okay. That's all right.
The summary, what I understand is individually instead of integrating, we can make one image like that. Some discussion has gone. That's what I understood. Is it true, sir?
Say that again.
Instead of what I mean to say is injecting all the drivers and applications to the image file. That's what you're discussing, right, sir?
Yeah. The path that we're going on now, what you're going to wind up with is a Windows 10 installation media.
Yeah.
That includes all of the Windows 10 drivers that Windows 10 natively has. It's not going to be just the drivers that were utilized on the computer that you created the image from.
Okay.
So you had, in your emails to me, you had said that you wanted to be able to, let's see, I bet rather than trying to say that from memory, let's go bring that up again, because this is what Gary was asking for clarification on. Let's find that YouTube video here. Okay, so installing all the drivers and applications, local system, key number, hours, clone disk, all the tools, service. Visit client's place and install operating system and install all drivers and applications. Searching for drivers takes a lot of time. So searching for drivers, I think you're implying there that you're actually installing Windows 10 and then having to search for additional drivers. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So would those be additional drivers like for what? The updated drivers for Intel chipset or for motherboards or
AMD?
Yeah, what you're searching for drivers outside of what comes with Windows 10.
Yeah, because some devices are not recognized. Like for example, we have a D-Link wireless adapter. It doesn't support Windows 10. So I have to go to manufacturer site and search for the model and search for the version and download.
Okay.
So
if you know you're going to do that repeatedly, you could have those drivers stored in a folder on the computer that you're creating the image from. If you know that you're going to a client's location and you're going to be installing Windows on 10 computers for them, you could do all the work on one of their computers and create the image off of that with all the drivers that you want, and then restore that with the out-of-box experience on all the other computers. I think the specific method that you're going to use in any particular instance depends upon the circumstances of that instance. So I'm sure you're still going to come across times where you need drivers that you didn't have the foresight to include on your prototype computer where you created the Windows 10 image. So even if you had searching for drivers, can we make a operating system with universal drivers integrated into that? So any devices on a computer that Windows 10 does not have drivers for and can't make it operate, that already says there's no universal drivers for it.
Okay.
If Windows 10 doesn't have it, then it's not out there.
Okay.
Now, it could be that when you've got a new computer for a client and you start it up and it's got devices connected to it that it's not finding the right device drivers, Windows Update might find the right drivers. And as Windows 10 updates to, from 2004 up to 21H2, it may find the drivers for it. But if drivers aren't included for Windows 10 that work for that device, that tells me there are no universal drivers, because any universal drivers are going to be included in Windows 10 already. Fair enough?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Clear.
Okay. So
Obviously, if they come down with the update, they're not included with Windows 10.
yeah. And when we create an image that we're going to take out to the client's office, we're always going to be using the most recent Windows 10 version. So it's got a better chance of having the drivers for that oddball equipment than the image that comes on a brand new computer, which could be several versions out of date.
And then Doug,
Yeah.
I think I misunderstood, because the way I read the email is he wanted a way to add, let's say, 5 programs outside of Windows.
But we can do that by installing those first on the computer that we're going to make the image from.
No, I might have misunderstood it. I thought he wanted to go to client 1 and install one of 5 programs there. Not Windows, just 5 programs on top
Yes,
of
sir.
it.
You're right, sir. Suppose, can I express what is my opinion? Is it okay, Gary?
Yes,
Sir?
go ahead.
Sure.
Sir, what I mean to say is, suppose I usually travel to client places, sir. They ask only for 5 basic programs like MS Office, Acrobat Reader, and WinZip and VLC Player. So what I want to do is I want to integrate those as an unattended installation in Windows image along with the operating system. This should run as a silent installation. So this is what I'm thinking, so that I need not again put a pen drive or install like that. I want to avoid such situations.
Yeah. So you want to install those extra applications along with the Windows operating system.
Okay.
Yeah, as a silent installation.
Yeah. So Gary, that's a little different than what you thought he was saying, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. I think we're all on the same page. All right. So then let's come back here to your computer. Oh, I see some things happening in orange. Let me go check the chat room. Let's see. There's the ActiveEtch comment, and then Chris says the program Blackwatch mentioned was Nlight, not Ninite. It will inject drivers, service packs to a Windows setup. So that kind of sounds along the lines of what Vittal was asking for, that inject drivers service pack. So I would think that means like an updated driver from Intel or AMD or something like that Windows Update isn't going to pick up. And it says inject drivers service packs to a Windows setup. So yeah, it sounds like that might be something of interest. From Zvi, from my experience, there is no problem to install a system once, including the user to prepare an image and restore it to another computer. There's no problem to install a system once, including the user to prepare an image to restore it to another computer. I think that's exactly what I'm pursuing here. Unless there's something I'm not understanding about that comment. And then the operating system of 10 knows to put the correct drivers to the other board. Agreed. Fingerprint let's see, there's a USB fingerprint reader drivers. Sam, I'm looking at the same things, including with the ISO. Chris says, I haven't used Nlight, just seen it before. Okay, so up to date there. Now.
Actually, I loaded Nlight, sir. I don't know how to use it. It's right in the desktop.
Oh,
So
it's
I
on
don't
this
know how to
computer?
use it. Yeah, the one which you are seeing me on the video, it is there in that thing, but I'm not able to access it. I mean, I don't know how to use it.
Okay. Well, we're not going to go down that road yet because we've got other things to get to before we're ready for that point, because that apparently would be for injecting drivers into an image.
Yes, sir.
So what we've got now is that ISO. Where is that ISO file at?
It's extremely left top of the user picture is there. Beneath that it is there, sir. On the other computer. Extreme left, second one. Beneath that.
Second. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
good.
an ISO file.
Okay. Now, I think I actually have to mount that before this tool. I'm going to go ahead and relaunch the tool, or is it already open? Do I now have 2 instances open? Yeah, I do. Let's close that instance. And then restore this instance. Oh, come back. Why won't that come open? It's not happy about something.
Should I try over there on system?
Alt tab. Don't see any other dialog box. Okay, I'm going to right click and close it. And go there again. So it wants to see an image file. I'm going to see if I can actually add it here. My recollection is it wants me to mount that first. Yeah, so I'm not seeing that there. So I'm going to bring up File Explorer, go to the desktop, and then find that. I'm going to click on one of these folders and type W to get me to, there it is. And then right click and mount. So this mounts it as a drive letter that I could actually browse through that ISO file. Now, does Windows System Image Manager see that? Let's see if I can go to File, New Answer File. Do you want to open a Windows image now? Say yes. Okay, now it lets me browse for it. So desktop. Oh, it wants a WIM or CLG. Is the WIM or CLG file inside here? Let's turn on extensions. Let's see, file name extensions. Windows image or catalog files. Here's the H drive, that's the image. This is a little bit of hacking here now.
Usually it resides in the sources folder, sir.
Sources, you think it would be?
Mostly it will be residing in that one.
And then, since it didn't find, oh, there's boot WIM. Okay, that looks like it. So it's in the sources folder. Open. Select an image file in the Windows image folder. So we have these two different ones. That's the Windows pre-installation environment. That's not what we want. We want the Windows setup x64. The catalog file for Windows image cannot be opened for the following reason. Cannot find the catalog file associated with Windows image Microsoft setup. You must have a valid catalog file to continue. Do you want to create a catalog file? Oh boy, yes I do. Cannot obtain read-write access for H-sources boot. In order to generate a catalog file, you must have read-write access to the Windows image file and its containing folder. Interesting. So that was in sources. I'm going to right-click on sources on this mounted image, go to properties, see what rights we have. Sharon,
my feeling is once you mounted, I think it will not allow. I'm just thinking like that. I'm not sure. Is it one of the reason it is not getting read?
You're thinking because it's mounted,
Yeah.
we can't make changes to it? I don't know. As my friend from a few live streams ago enjoyed saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in an area here that I don't know what I'm doing. And I am thoroughly having fun. Let's see, I'm going to try. See, there's not even an option for new. So I can't create anything new. Now, until I mounted it, I don't think I have access to it. So let's try unmounting it and see if we can get access to it. This is...
Or I have a ready-made USB drive with these things. Should I put that in that? It will be easier for you.
You have that image on a USB?
What I mean to say is bootable USB I have readily available.
Okay. Well,
Should I put that?
Yeah, go ahead and attach that. So here I'm going to eject this mounted drive and see if we get it.
So I'm putting USB drive, sir. It's of Windows 11. Is it okay?
Well, the Microsoft documentation says this works for Windows 11 too, except that the image that we're working with on this computer is Windows 10, not Windows 11. So yeah, I'm inclined not. So that ISO file on your desktop, oh, that's Windows 10.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, that sounds a little chancy to do that with Windows 11. So I'm gonna pop over here to chat because there's some questions being asked of me. We try to figure out something else. Let's see, inline. Zvi says, if you agree with me, then why to use Sysprep? Well, what agreement? There's been a lot of conversations here. I got a lot of stuff going through my mind right now. The operating system knows Windows 10 to put the correct drivers. Oh. Well, because there's more that we want other than drivers. We want to be able to do settings configurations in Windows 10 and software installations on Windows 10 and create an image that has that. So for instance, Adobe Acrobat Reader and that program that we all like to use for videos, those aren't drivers. So that's the reason to use Sysprep, so we can include things other than just drivers. Extract the ISO to a new folder. Okay, that makes sense. That might be a solution. How can you make a Sysprep for both Intel and AMD? It will be so full of drivers. Well, Windows 10 has all the drivers for Intel and AMD. You don't when you download from the media creation tool, you don't have to choose whether you're Intel or AMD. Windows 10 has all that. So I don't think that is a concern. And Sam, like a zip folder. I understand what you're saying there, I think. So let's go try that. I like that. So let's take this file here. I'm going to get it off of the desktop. So I'm going to cut it from there. bring up Windows Explorer, go to C drive, right click, create a folder called Doug does not know how to do this. So that'll be the folder where that's going to reside. Somebody's got to be laughing, please. All right, ISO, extract it to a folder. Well,
Sir, for that we need a WinZip or WinRAR tool, sir.
That's
if I
right.
install that, it quickly gets done.
Yeah, do you have 7-zip nearby?
No, I have WinRAR. I can install quickly. Online, I have to download it. Should I do it quickly?
What is it that you have?
WinRAR directly online on Google. You can download and quickly complete it.
I see Sam, well, 7-zip, Sam Lazar opened my eyes to how flexible that is. It does a lot more. Are you sure that the one you're proposing will unzip an ISO file?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Show us what that looks like.
Just 1 minute, sir.
Oh, Zvi, that sounds even better. Okay, so what Zvi is saying is mount the ISO and copy it all instead of
Easier
extract.
solution. That's more easier process.
You think that's more direct?
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah, let's do
efficient
that.
also.
That would be faster. So I'm going to right click on the ISO file, mount it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does it still maintain, does it actually maintain everything? I don't know. So right click on that, choose copy, and then go back to my Doug folder. Oh, I'm already there. Let's see, I better make that a subfolder.
Doug, I think you'd rather unzip this than try to copy it out.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too, because I think unzip's going to do more than copy. Copy's only going to copy the visible files. It's not going to copy system or protected files. Yeah, so that's what you just said, Gary, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go that way. All right, Vittal, we're back onto your what you want to download. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah,
What did
Zvi, I'm not feeling that because I'm not convinced a straight copy is going to get everything. It might. You might be right.
Yeah, but you might still need a directory structure that you might not get with a copy.
Yeah. Oh, WinRAR. Yeah, and I think like empty folders.
Yeah.
Will copy do those? I'm not sure. I didn't understand he was pronouncing WinRAR.
What happened with Internet Explorer?
The portable Internet Explorer did not solve that problem.
Not to be, I told you so, but I had a feeling it wouldn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's all.
Well, it wasn't from Microsoft. That's the problem. It was open source.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make me think that it can't work.
No, but I feel better if Microsoft had busted.
I think it was a pretty safe bet to say it won't work. Because I just think we're working in an area that has got the odds stacked against us.
Though I played with it, and actually it's a real small footprint. It's quite quick.
Yeah. So Zvi is reasserting that it will copy all the files. So you may be right, but we're on the path to this way, so we're going to go ahead and try it this way. Bill Sony TT is asking, is this Doug's computer? No, I'm connected remotely to one of Vittal's classroom computers. He teaches computer classes, and he also does work for clients. He's got his fingers in a number of different business ventures.
He also works for the government with a MAC address.
Yeah. Well, he works for the government. He's authorized by the government to take payments that the general public needs to make towards government entities, which includes utilities. So that's a higher level of authorization. So when we first heard from Vittal that his MAC address is part of what allows him into that website, I don't think at that point I did not realize that he is a service provider to the general public for paying utility bills. So that's why he's a extra level of security than what the normal end user might be.
Well, I had told my son about that. I mean, I always say my son is in his 40s, so he's not a child. But
Yeah.
and he works in IT. He's also in management. He said, "No, you're mistaken. It's not the MAC address." And when I convinced him it was, he said, "Good luck."
Yeah. So, Vittal, did you already extract that?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yes,
watching.
yes.
So this is completely extracted. So now.
Yeah, it's all uncompressed data.
Okay. So now in sources, if I right click, I am able to create in there. So I'm going to create a folder just to prove that I can. Yeah. So then I'll delete that. So now we do have rights to create something there. So then we'll go back to Windows System Image Manager and go to answer file. This is the layout of the answer file without an image. Let's see if I close that answer file. Yeah. And now do a new answer file. Do you want to open a Windows image now? Yes. And then we'll maneuver to that boot whim. And it's not on the DVD. So now we're going, well, you know what? Let's make it easy this way. I'm going to click in the address bar, Control C to copy that. And then I'll paste that up here, Control V. Nope, it doesn't like that. I'll click down here in the file name. The file name is highlighted. Control V to paste in there. I wiped out that file name, press enter. Now that gets me into that folder. And I'll click on the boot whim file. And I'll just click up here in the look in folder to verify, yes, we're on the C drive. And then open. See if it'll let me do that. And then Microsoft Windows Setup x64, click OK. Cannot be opened for the following reason. Cannot find the catalog file associated with the Windows image setup. You must have a valid catalog file. Do you want to create a catalog file? Oh, sure. Here's the oh, sure button. And yes, to user account control. So that would be a .cat file apparently that it's creating, generating a catalog file.
Why not? I don't know what it's doing. Bada bing.
Let's see, trying to move this to where I can see both at the same time.
Sir, I have a meanwhile, I have a question. Can I ask you, sir?
Yes.
Sir, in general, when in the Windows image and all, they have all default drivers. Windows 10 has all default drivers for different systems. So when we download drivers from manufacturer side, and can we copy paste in that? Will it work in that way, or is there any other means to do that?
I think you're saying that Windows 10 comes with a set of drivers. Can we add additional drivers to it?
To that folder. So that we need not.
I think we can. I think the answer to that is yes, and I think there's a contribution from the chat on that subject. So we'll want to revisit that later.
Yes, sir.
So now this has done what? It did a new answer file. And down here, Windows image. So this is stuff about the image. Here's components in the image and a bunch of stuff that's, a bunch of these are expandable because they have other stuff in them. So I just clicked on that plus sign, and then interfaces. Not really interested in that in particular, just kind of getting a little familiar with this. Feature pack, language pack, foundation. So apparently these all have something to do with the image. Now what we care about is answer file. And I only very briefly looked at this. My impression was that there's going to be some kind of check boxes that we can select for the answers. And I'm just poking around trying to find that. Edit, insert, synchronous driver path action. So we might actually wind up going to look at the instructions. Validate answer file. Create configuration set. That sounds promising. Distribution share, not so much. Validate answer file. That would make sense after we've made our choices. So configuration set. Select the target folder for configuration set. I feel way out of my element. So I'm going to go back to those tabs that I have open. Because I think I've got some instructions in there. While we're going there, look to see, I've already seen these in orange. So install all the softwares and make an image that include all you want. Yes, that is what we're trying to do. And Sam, I don't know what that one is about there, so I'm not going to take a sidetrack to that until you give me an executive summary about what's there. And I'm not going to go look at a Reddit until you give me an executive summary of what's there. And why I would want to go look at it. So now back to my computer and these tabs that I have open, and I'm going to look for that one about, let's see, using this, what do you call it? System Image Manager, SIM, for creating an answer file. So here we are, answer file. While installing Windows, USB flash, select an answer file, region, product key, specify where, unattended Windows deployment services, related topics, modify image, create or open an answer file. That sounds like the ticket. I'm going to right click on that, open a new tab. Let's see. Well, Zvi. Okay, Zvi's in waiting in Zoom, so I'm going to switch over and bring him in. Let's see. Bring this up, and here comes Zvi Manor.
Yes.
You
Hello.
there? Hi.
Yes. Hi. First of all, I want to say something about the Sysprep. You can install all Windows and all the softwares that you want in the computer, then make an image, and the image, put it in another computer. Windows 10 knows the drivers that he have to put it for this motherboard.
Okay,
So,
that's in line with everything I've been saying.
Yes, so why to do a Sysprep?
Okay, fair question. All right, let me go see if I can pull up the answer to that over here, because yeah, here. So here's my response to that. This is from the Macrium Reflect. My understanding is that, yeah, you can create an image file from a computer and go restore that image to another computer, but it's not, Windows 10 is not going to go through the installation process of evaluating what equipment is there. It will detect some things automatically, but with Sysprep, my understanding is it will do that better.
No.
Well, before you nix it, I want you to listen to this with an open mind, because you kind of come at me sometimes with a a little insistent. You might be right. You might be right. Many times you have been, but I want you to listen. I want to know that you have heard this first. Okay? Fair enough?
I am all ears.
Okay, thank you. So this piece here, using Windows Sysprep utility, you can prepare a machine to be deployed across multiple other machines. Windows provides a handy utility called Sysprep, which allows you to prepare a master PC image that is configured and set up to be deployed across multiple workstations. By running Sysprep, Windows prepares the machine so that when installed on a workstation, the system admin is prompted for Windows activation and environment configuration as if the PC had been installed from scratch. To prepare a PC to be Sysprepped, ensure that it contains all the applications and configuration that you want the deployed systems to have installed. Unless you have sufficient licenses for the machines you're deploying to reflect, never mind, that part isn't needed. Now, this statement does not directly contradict what you're proposing, Javi, in my opinion. I think you may be completely right, but in the past, when I have tried what you're suggesting, I've had troubles. So my deduction from that is that when you restore an image to a different make and model computer that has different devices, and it doesn't get to go through the Windows 10 setup and initialization, it does not do as good of a job of getting the right device drivers. You are disagreeing with that statement. What is your background that gives you assurance that what you're saying is right? I'm not saying it's wrong. I want to know why you're so confident of that.
My experience with Windows 10 is so that when I clone or image, make a clone, of course, and put it in another machine. When you start the machine, the operating system is searching for drivers. So that's all.
Okay,
if the drivers are
so your assurance is because you've been doing this a lot.
Yes, with Windows 10. With Windows 7, it was a problem. With Windows XP, it was a big problem.
You know what? I can't say with assurance that I have tried this with Windows 10. So when I say that I've had troubles with it, I might be remembering back to my efforts with Windows 7. That could be.
No.
That could be.
Okay.
So
when I use Acronis, I'm using Acronis.
Yeah.
When I clone a machine, you can, after that, when you restore with Acronis, you can restore it with unattended drivers. So without drivers, Windows 10 will find the drivers.
Okay. Okay, I believe I understand what you're saying, and I'm not taking a issue with it. So let's boy, none of you have your cameras on. I feel so lonely here. Let's come back here. So Vittal.
Yes, sir.
have you, now let's see, you're not even familiar with Macrium Reflect, and I'm thinking that maybe you haven't even been trying to create images of computers and restoring them to others. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct. If what Zvi is proposing is valid, it'd certainly be a whole lot simpler. Thank you, Zvi, for turning your camera on. I feel less lonely. I think it makes a better show to see your face. Even
Nice.
you guys have noticed sometimes when Jim's on, he'll get up from his desk and walk out of the room or walk around doing other stuff. That's all fine. I think it makes a more interesting show when we can see you.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
When I clone something with Windows and Office there and Acrobat not need a serial number, so what?
Right.
But when you are cloning Windows or Microsoft Office, then the activation will be not there.
Right.
Okay, you have to activate all. You have to activate the Windows and also the Office.
Yeah.
Other softwares, it's normally.
Yeah, I think softwares that don't have a user-specific activation, I think are more likely compatible with this. So for me, when I'm thinking about starting to implement this with the computers that I work with, my image is not going to include Microsoft Office because usually I'm installing Office 365 off of their business license or a home license or a family license. And I'd rather just go log on to office.com, click install, and that's pretty easy to do and stable. So I don't want to include Office as part of my image. And also I don't want to include my remote connection, my unattended remote connection in an image. I can include my desktop icon for simplifying the connection to my computer. But point taken, there are some softwares that you would not want to have included in this image. So Vittal, I think it might be a worthwhile experiment for you that we go ahead and install Macrium Reflect. Now, I'm not going to do Acronis because that requires payment. We can do Macrium Reflect for free. And create a backup image with that and have you restore it to another computer as an experiment and see if that actually accomplishes everything that you want.
Okay, I'll do it, sir. Today I'll accomplish and I'll update you.
Say again?
Today I will accomplish the task and I will update you through email, sir.
Okay, you'll accomplish the task and then send me an email. Good. All
Yeah.
right, so I'm going to switch back over to your computer and we will go ahead and divert to that. So Zvi, thank you for being insistent on pointing out that opinion because you just may have shortened this by a whole lot. So I'm going to close the System Image Manager and close that. And then we'll go download Macrium Reflect. Bill Sony TTS, you have made several comments in chat. I'm going to turn your name blue so that everybody recognizes you're somebody that's been around because I have seen you before. And so that means you're a moderator, but I ask you not to block people unless somebody comes into chat and does something really vulgar. Then you can delete their comment, but let me know about it in chat because I like to do that, manage the trolls myself. So then the website, Macrium. I'm starting to mess up with my fingers. Macrium.com. And Bill says okay and thank you. And then we'd go, now here's a little tricky. You kind of got to know where to go. We want to get into the free version, which is one version obsolete. And it works completely fine. Let's see. Last time I went through this, I found it. Reflect 8 is here. We don't want 8, we want 7. I'm going to try home solutions because I don't remember how we got to it. Reflect 8, scrolling down. I think maybe what it was is Google specifically for the free version. Oh, here, Reflect Free. This is it. Okay, go to Products and then down to Reflect Free. That'll get us to version 7. There it says, and they have Reflect 7 free for commercial. And we want to keep scrolling down and go for this part here that says Backup at Home, Reflect 7 free. So download free. I do have licenses for it myself, and I purchase it for clients in their offices because the purchase version lets me configure it so it sends me an email to let me know that backups are successful or not. I need a personal free license. I'm not going to enter an email. I'm just going to click continue. And then open file. Then here we can choose either the free version or the free version. That's the only option that's in that drop-down list. Run installer directly after loading. Nothing else to change in here. And click download. So that part that already downloaded was just an installation stub.
Can I recap what I understood, sir?
Yes.
What I understood you are saying is using Macrium software, I can make an image on one system and then I can use in multiple systems. So Windows 10 has a capability to install its own device drivers.
Yes.
So for that, we are making the whole setup. Is that true, sir?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and skipping the Sysprep and the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit.
Doug,
Yes.
is this machine a laptop or desktop?
It's an all-in-one, sir. All-in-one computer with the Core i5 with the 6th generation, 4 GB RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive.
So, and you want to install it on another computers that are the same?
No, it's in my case, I'm a service engineer. I go with different configurations like Core 2 dual core with 4 GB and 500 GB.
I didn't understand.
He wants to install this on other make and model computers for his clients. So not the same make and model computer.
All in one is like a laptop. So
Yeah.
if it's a brain like HP, it will be with extra software from HP. Okay, it's not clean Windows.
Good point. We'd want to be doing it in order to use this image from Macrium Reflect. We'd want to be making an image from a fresh install of Windows 10, so it doesn't have any of the manufacturer pre-installed software on it. Good point. And so it's not with the HP's version of Windows 10, because HP does their own twist.
It's the same, but it's the same Windows, but they putting extra software.
Right.
So for testing the machine, etc. Also Dell and Acer, also it's the same.
Okay. So it's possible that the image we're about to create, he may not wind up using for other make and model computers. Vittal, this computer, did you install fresh Windows 10 on it, or did it come pre-installed from the manufacturer?
No, I installed it.
Oh, you did the fresh
Okay.
install, so it may be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay.
I'm gonna go look at
It's a DOS-based system. They didn't ship with the operating system.
Free
So
DOS.
Free DOS, yeah, free DOS
Okay.
system. Because I have an offer when I'm purchasing without operating system, something like 6,000 rupees is less. So I took it with the DOS.
well, I see Dell Support Assist is installed on this,
Yeah, it's a Dell machine, sir. What I'm using is a Dell all-in-one.
but the Dell Support Assist wouldn't be there if you did a fresh install of Windows unless you also installed.
I went to the manufacturer site and downloaded all the
Okay.
drivers using that tool.
Okay, so for you to have an image that would serve your purposes better, you should do a fresh install on one of these computers
Okay.
and not install the Dell Support Assist, or the other possibility is even this computer, uninstall Dell Support Assist.
Yeah,
And
now
then
only can do
create
it,
the
sir.
image.
No problem. You can remove it now. No problem for me.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna.
Vittal, what Doug said that you will install the fresh Windows with
Yeah.
all the software that you want, then clone it, and then use it.
Okay,
Because
sir.
this machine is your machine, and
Yeah.
you have a file, your own file there.
Yeah.
So if you are cloning this machine, all the files and all the system will go to the clone,
Okay.
to the image.
Yeah.
So it's not good.
Okay, fine. Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
I'll follow that.
I think he's understands that. This is
Yeah.
just how to do it. Okay, so here we have Macrium Reflect, and I heard somebody else coming into Zoom. Let's see who we got. Blackwatch.
BK.
BW is joining Zoom. Connecting to audio. Get back here. Let's see, ready to patch. Okay, this is a patch for Macrium Reflect, so starting that. So there was a lot of clicks that I did during the install of Macrium Reflect that I didn't talk through because we were having other conversation at that time. So anyone repeating this process, trying to install Macrium Reflect, you're probably going to have to watch the screen for those clicks that I did. Hello, Blackwatch.
How are you, Doug?
I'm good. How are you?
So, you know, I got a question.
Yes.
Savi might answer for Acronis, you for Macrium Reflect. Is there a box? Is the box still available to check for copying disk signatures?
Disk signatures.
Yeah. This. Go ahead.
Javi, the question to you is in Acronis. Is there a box to check for copying disk signatures?
No.
And Gary says no.
Well, there was. The point being this: if you, I don't know why people clone so much. I really don't. Unless the drive's failing. If the drive's failing, it's garbage. If you're going to reuse it, the way I'm thinking, and it's got the disk signature on both, you're going to have in mounted devices, you're going to have the disk signature collision.
I used it to back up every night.
No, yeah, but you're not. Bear with me.
It's a complete clone, and if I lose it at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I've lost 2 hours.
No, but you're not. I understand what you're doing. You're creating an image. I'm talking about cloning. If you clone
true cloning from one hard drive to another, not creating an image file.
Exactly.
Right.
And if the signatures are the same and you remount that device, you're going to have a disk signature collision.
No, when I mount it, I've already lost the first drive.
I don't think anyone. You can't run both those drives together
Correct.
at the same time.
Oh, you can fix it, but I'm just curious. At one time with Acronis, because I used the Linux boot, drive. You can copy the disk signature. And the reason it's unchecked is to prevent a disk signature collision if you use the drive again.
If you're going to have that drive running in the same computer, sure.
Exactly. And
that's never my scenario.
No, but I mean, I just, like I say, if somebody got a failing drive, you're going to clone it. I mean, it's garbage. But if you come up with a scenario where you're going to go to an SSD or something and you want to use the spinning drive, something like that, you want to reuse the drive. If that signature is there, you're going to have a collision.
Yeah, I back mine up as a clone and then bring it right back if I've lost anything, or if, God forbid, I put some weird thing out there and who knows what I'm going to start.
If you're bringing back data files and things, I mean, I'm
bringing back the whole drive, the whole thing.
Yeah, but
I could do an image instead of a clone, but I just do a clone that's quicker.
No,
right now, if you do an Acronis image, it takes about 20 minutes longer than a clone, and I don't know why. And that's a 2021 version.
It's rebuilding the drive. That's why. But like what I used to do when it was MDR, you take the image and you're going to go to another, like say you upgraded to SSDs. Well, you just leave 1 megabyte at the front. You just space it 1 megabyte back, and the system will rebuild the MDR.
For GPT volume,
come on, guys. You're going way too deep into the weeds. That is so far off track what we're doing here.
You're right.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. I'm sorry. That's just way off track of what we're doing.
I just had a question. I put it in chat, and he made
I did.
Okay.
I didn't understand what signatures.
Maybe it's changed. Maybe I only went up to 2019.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's move forward, please. Okay. Vittal, you see Macrium reflect on the screen here.
Yeah.
So creating the image. Here's this part on the top is the source. Okay. And we're on the backup tab. Create a backup tab. We could be creating an image of this drive or of this drive. Notice when I click on this drive down here, these options appear for cloning this disk or imaging this disk. Well, we're not interested in imaging that one, so we got to be clicked on this one. So when we click on image this disk, then it's going to ask us where do we want to store that image.
Okay.
Now this here is your Western Digital Passport, and it has, let's see, looks like it's got plenty of free space out here. So we'll click image this disk. And now we have up here the word source and down here the word destination. Here we have all of the partitions selected, and that's normally what I'll do is I'll normally just include all of the partitions. Sometimes I have a partition that is for storing backup image files, and I won't want to clone that or image that one. Now this here, you have an empty F drive partition. So potentially you might choose to not include that just by taking that check mark off. So now we know that this isn't the computer that's going to be the master for the images that you're going to use on your client's computer, because this computer has softwares on it that are specifically for you that you don't want your clients to have. Here it's asking for the folder where we want to do it. So we click on this ellipsis button. And then we can browse through to that location where we want to store it. So here's the passport drive. And then perhaps want to create a folder or use one of these folders for that image. Should I create a folder or use one of those?
You can create a new folder.
Okay. So we have the root of the G drive selected. We'll click on Make New Folder. I typically call mine Macrium Backups. It could be images, it could be Macrium images, it could be your master image, whatever you want to call that folder. And you can change that folder name later. It doesn't
Yes.
have to stay whatever we have it now.
Okay.
So there we've got it as Macrium Backups. That's highlighted. I'll click OK. So now it shows that path there. This checkbox for using image ID as a file name, what that's going to do is that's going to take the name of the computer and use that as the image file name, and it'll use essentially a date code. I don't like that very much. It's not very user friendly to me. Eventually, I think what you'll probably do this is maybe you might call it master image or Windows 10 image for clients, or you might say it's Windows 10 with client apps, whatever makes sense to you.
Okay.
So we know that's not actually what this image contains, but just suggesting. And then click Next. And we don't need to do this is for backups with different, full backups, incremental backups, and scheduling them, things like that. We don't need to click on anything there. Just leave those defaults as they are. Click Next. And then this shows a summary of the settings that you've chosen. I'm not going to go through those in detail. Click Finish. And then it asks if we want to run that now, or do we want to also save it? I'm inclined to not save it for you because you're likely going to make some other changes and such.
Yeah.
And if you were going to do a backup schedule, you would probably want to save it. And then click OK. And then it's off and running now, creating that image on that external drive. Now, let's see, how large was that? Wasn't too big, 50 gigabytes. So it's probably going to take 15-20 minutes for that to run.
Sir, one small query.
Yes.
We created an image, but for restoring, we have to make another USB drive for Mac using that
Yes.
the software.
We need to make a USB drive that can be bootable. Do you have that on hand?
I don't have Rufus. I used to use Rufus. I don't have. I can download it quickly. Should I do it?
You're not
Or
going
you can.
You're going to download a USB thumb drive?
Yeah, the software to make USB bootable.
No. This Macrium Reflect, we just go to one of the menu options here, and it'll create the bootable USB thumb drive. So do you have a thumb drive on hand?
Yeah, readily I have it. I'll just plug into the system.
Okay. So we could cancel this backup because you now see how to do it. We don't have to wait for this to finish in order for us to create the USB thumb drive.
Okay.
This is telling us it's going to take 14 minutes. Now it's down to 12 minutes. Now it's down to 11 minutes. But this is not very accurate. It could wind up taking significantly longer than that. It depends upon how much compression it's able to do along the way. Let's see. What do we have in chat? Let me go. I'm going to switch over to chat, bring it up on screen. It doesn't look like we have very much in orange. I'm going to scroll up to see the last thing. Waiting Zoom. Okay, so
should I put back the USB drive on the system, sir?
Yeah, you can plug it into that computer.
Yeah, just a second.
Vittal dislikes it. Well, Blackwatch is on with us now, so if that's something he wants to bring up, can still do that. And then here from Sam.
Yes, sir, I'm done.
To Vijaya, how to make an ISO with preloaded software, updates drivers and settings. That's a YouTube video for that. Yes.
I'm just curious. A long time ago, Acronis had this option. I think it's pulled away now. You can convert the image to an ISO.
Oh, that would have solved the thing I was struggling with earlier today. So Acronis had an option to convert the image, the Acronis image, to an ISO file.
Yeah, one time it did.
One time, maybe doesn't anymore. I looked for that in Macrium Reflect and did not find it. I found people asking the question, Macrium Reflect, how can I convert the backup to an ISO file? And the responses to it brought out more detail about the person who was asking the question that actually kind of made his question irrelevant because his actual need was a different purpose.
You do more of it, or perhaps with clients. I'm just wondering what happens to the HAL on restoration to another machine.
What happens to the HAL?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what HAL is. Help me out.
Hard
Access
layer. The license for Windows.
Oh, the license for Windows? Well, Windows 10, since it's an electronic, a digital license that's based on the hardware, so restoring an image file to another computer is the Windows 10 license is irrelevant. If that hardware has already been registered with Windows 10, it just automatically activates. I've done that.
Yeah, but if I'm getting, is it Vittal? If I'm getting his situation understood, is he going to ship this out to people for them to do, or he's going to have it in-house to do?
No, it's for him to do when he goes out to client locations.
But then the HAL would be different.
You can still put the code in at the end when it's all done and then activate it.
I've never had an issue with even the term HAL, so I don't know where you're getting this from.
No,
it's the hardware abstraction layer. It tells Windows what, let's say a driver for for a printer, a driver for USB. That's how it talks to the Windows, let's say, format program.
All right.
Yeah, but HAL was also introduced because he put out Windows, whatever, 95, 98. If you bought a disk, you could give it to anybody. HAL was introduced to block your key.
No.
That was the original intent.
Well, that was back then. That was a different licensing strategy. Right now, anybody can download Windows 10 from Microsoft for free without a license.
No, but you're taking an image and putting it on another machine. The image has already got the HAL built. Like I'm just wondering. I'm just curious about it because the command disarm.
Well, the minute you go out to the machine, it's going to have a different MAC address. Let's say each card is a serial number. If you have an old computer with a parallel port, it has a different serial number between each computer. At that point, your machine becomes unregistered with Microsoft.
Unless it's already had a digital license registered with Microsoft.
Correct, Dave.
Because it handles that at the hardware level.
It's just a thought. I mean, I don't know how all this. Usually, you use it for personal use, so you don't run into that. And if you have similar machines, I've never had it. I guess what I'm thinking, if I went to an AMD machine, I don't know. I know all the drivers, all the stuff's built into Windows 10. But as far as the licensing thing goes, I thought it was based on the HAL. I thought it went right down to the serial numbers.
Nope. No. Yes and no. It doesn't. Hold on one second. Here, take a look at this. This spells out what you're talking about.
Are you trying to do a screenshot, Gary?
No, I'm trying to do a URL. It's too big.
Oh,
My mistake. I'll find another one real quick. Because you're making the hardware abstraction layout. All that does is it goes between, as an example, format. If you don't have a HAL, format does not know that there's a drive out there. Format
No, I
goes-
know that, but maybe I'm stretching this out too far. It's just a simple question, Doug. If you put an image on another machine, have you ever run into the problem? That's all it is.
no. I've been able to restore an image to another machine and works fine.
Well, that's all there is to this. We don't have to go
Okay.
here. We could go really deep between the two of us. I know, but it might just confuse the whole
It's not needed.
issue. You know, but I'm just curious.
Okay, so this is showing 3 minutes left. I'm kind of wanting to let it go because it's going that quick.
Black watch.
Does Vittal, if he's not, what's the word? If he's somewhat intimidated by something like nLight, imaging must be the answer for him.
I don't know why you somebody said Vittal doesn't like nLight. I'm not sure we ever asked him that question or why it matters.
Well, I did, and does he not? Would it be easier to do imaging than to get into pre-installation type of thing?
Yeah, I think this imaging is going to be easier.
Well, that's what I was trying to put out there. He doesn't. If these type of programs are beyond him, I'm sorry, I can't find another way to put it. Last time he used nLight was in Windows 7. I've not used it in 10.
I use it in XP.
Pardon?
I use it in XP.
I'm not catching the last
He
bit.
used nLight in XP. Zvi used nLight with Windows XP last.
I used it XP and I used it in 7. That's when I stopped. The project's been on hold for quite a while with nLight till the people get back. But and my point is this: if Vittal is more comfortable with restoring images rather than building, ISOs, images is the way to go. Then,
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my point.
I don't even see it as a comfort level. I think it's far easier. You're not going to go through the out-of-box experience at all. It's going to restore whatever user accounts that you set up on your master image.
That's my point. Like in XP, you had to watch it. The Service Pack 3 disks were very few because they went to 7. So if you put in your key for SP3, slipstream SP3, wait a minute, your key is for SP2. You slipstream the SP3 in, it won't activate. It won't activate because
Kind of irrelevant to what we're doing here.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if he's more comfortable with imaging by the sound of it,
Blackwatch, to install a VLC Acrobat Reader, you don't have a license.
I didn't catch all that.
Say
Sorry.
that again, Zvi.
I said that to install VLC or Acrobat Reader, you don't have to have a license fee.
Oh, to install VLC or Acrobat Reader, you don't have to have a license.
Yeah, but I'm not concerned about programs. I was talking about Windows.
Windows, you have to activate it.
Okay, you're just about out of time because here this backup is finished. We're going to move on to creating this. Rescue media is what Macrium Reflect calls it. When this finishes here, it's going to tell us how long that took. And there it is. Let's see the last thing here. Okay, 12 minutes and 7 seconds. And we'll close that and close that. And Vittal, did you already insert that thumb drive?
Yeah, already done, sir.
So then we come up here to Other Tasks and choose Create Rescue Media. And then it's going to give us some choices. Now this Windows Boot menu, I have this, I use this when I do remote restore of image. So I've shown before where I'll split up a drive, a storage drive, whether it's SSD or hard drive, whatever. I'll make a partition that I typically call the M drive and label it Macrium. And I'll actually have a computer storing image files there on a regular basis when I choose to do that. I don't do it on all computers. But this Windows Boot menu means that when you restart the computer, you get a choice of booting into Windows or booting into the Macrium Reflect. I don't do that on client computers, but when I do this remotely, that actually happens as part of it. So what we want to do here is create the rescue media, not on the USB hard drive. That's the passport. We'd wipe out everything that's on it if we choose that one. So we're going to choose a removable USB drive. It's a 57 gigabyte thereabout. So we know we've got the right one by confirming it that way.
Yeah.
Check for devices. Check for devices missing drivers on boot. So this is going to add device drivers on this USB flash drive that are specific for this computer, so that it can be sure to be able to boot on this computer. I never do that. I never have found that I need to do that. It would certainly be extra thorough to put that check mark. You're going to use this thumb drive on other computers that are different than this one. So they might need drivers that this thumb drive is not going to have. I've never come across that problem, but I'm always dealing with major manufacturer name computers. I'm not doing this on custom built computers. That's just not my business. Enable multi-boot MBR UEFI. So this check mark is going to allow this thumb drive to work even on computers that don't have UEFI BIOS. So I always leave that selected. And then build. Let's see, remind myself what advanced does. So it's going to be 64-bit. BitLocker support. I never come in here and change these. Wi-Fi support. I don't need to be connected to a network to do a restore. Choose base WIM. Well, that's interesting. That may have more options available for what I was struggling with earlier today. Devices and drivers, rescue media volume. Again, I've never found myself with a need to go into here, but I haven't been restoring to other make and model computers very much at all, very little. But I think I want to start trying it. So build.
Sir, small question.
Yes.
When you are taking a backup, there are multiple partitions has been involved. It's all got check mark. When we are making an image, it took around 12 minutes, right, sir? That image.
Yeah, we created that image in 12 minutes.
Yeah, but there are so many, during the process of creating image, that partitions are all get checked. Like in my hard disk, there are 3 partitions. So when we go restore the image to the client system, is it that same configuration will appear there also?
Yes, but you can change it. If you don't want to restore all of those images, you don't have to. Okay. I have on occasion restored only the C drive image. Okay. And part of the reason for doing that is this recovery image. That's usually a recovery image from the manufacturer that has their original image. And if you restore a recovery partition from a Dell computer to an HP computer, that recovery partition is going to be useless. So it makes sense to only restore the C drive partition if you're restoring to a different computer. It can be less, it can be bigger. It gets a
Okay.
little tricky if it's less
Okay.
because you have to manually manipulate the partitions to make that work. And if you're restoring to a smaller partition, obviously the partition has to be large enough to hold the data that's on the original partition. But when you go to do that, it's going to object. It's going to tell you there's not enough room. So you have to kind of manually force that to happen. And it's been so rare that I've done that I can't recite how to go about it.
I'm just curious. The one you just backed up, is it a pre-built machine? I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
Vittal, his first name.
Vittal is his name, and it's a Dell computer. It's a Dell all-in-one.
Oh, what if you go to an HP? I mean, I had one pre-built that was used. Ever since then, I decided to build my own. I've never had a problem. Dell, HP, their own drivers, their own.
Blackwatch, this machine is all-in-one, but it's without Windows pre-installation. It's FreeDOS.
FreeDOS.
Was.
Well, maybe you guys have more experience with this, but I mean, I understand you got to go to the manufacturer's site to get their drivers. Is it that proprietary?
No, they just make changes in, maybe the video driver.
No, but that's what I mean. My point is restoring this image. If you're going to take it, say, from Vittal has a Lenovo, who knows, and it's going to go to on a Dell. What happens with the drivers?
Well, Windows will pick up the basic Dell drivers that Windows knows, but it's best practice to go to the manufacturer's website and use the driver update software that's there. You don't have to.
No, I'm just curious. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't consider anybody building a computer of their own to be custom built. That's my theory. It's just the way I look at it. It's not tied to manufacturing. That's the way I look at it.
Blackwatch, the only one problem that will be if Vittal will install the image on the computer that there is no drivers in Windows 10. Like a chipset, a new chipset, a motherboard, that's all.
In Blackwatch? Oh.
So you're saying Windows 10, when I used to use Nlight, I used to get Intel universal drivers and inject them. So now Windows 10 has all these built in?
Most of them, yes.
Most that are in the outside. But if Intel will get another chipset, a new chipset, there is no driver for the chipset.
It also brings the question, I don't know if Vittal is aware of the people he's going to talk to, but NVMe drivers that I would imagine is in Windows 10. I'm not too sure about this stuff. I haven't done it.
Okay, we need to move on now. You're all over the map with questions that are not on target.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Right.
Blackwatch, go to the chat, and I have some information. You'll read it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I got it open or overlaid somewhere here.
Yeah, well, just see it. Okay, thanks, Doug.
Okay, thank you.
Popped out.
All right, so this finished creating the USB media and gave us a message that something failed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
New generation.
So let's get back down here. Here's the original message. One or more WinPE files, that's the pre-installation environment, failed to copy to the USB device. So the WinPE is not specific to this computer at all. The rescue media may not work as expected. The log will contain more information. So when I've had trouble with creating rescue media, it's been rare, and it's been that there's something wrong with the USB drive itself, the USB thumb drive. This has nothing to do with the image that's on this computer. So try, this is the text file that tells what was wrong, and it's kind of large. Let me see if I can get this to a more comfortable read. Zoom.
It's a new drive, sir. Yesterday only I purchased it.
It's a new thumb drive?
Yeah, 64 GB. Yesterday itself I purchased.
64 gigabyte, and you said something about yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday only I purchased 64 GB.
You bought it yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. The file or directory is corrupted or unreadable. One or more P environment files failed to copy to the USB drive. Failed to open handle. Here's some copying messages. Removing pre-existing drivers. It's writing partition, boot sector code, target partition successfully set active. MBR boot code successfully written to disk. So that's one piece that it did successfully. Checking existing target file. Space free on disk volume, 57 gigabytes. So just at this end here that it had trouble. All right, I'm going to close down this, and then we'll go look at the thumb drive Windows Explorer. USB looks like that one not accessible. Directory is corrupted and unreadable. I actually did have something similar to this fairly recently with my own thumb drive that I've used a lot, and then I just used another one. That one I have is still damaged. SanDisk Cruiser Blade. That's a good name. The problem I had, I tried disk part and clean, and that didn't fix it. There's a utility that Steve has that has been reported as fixing USB drives. Help me, Gary. Steve from Security Now.
Steve Gibson?
Steve Gibson, yeah. But I think those are people in his beta testing for the new version of his software product. Oh gosh. Vittal, I don't know what we can do to fix this USB drive. I'm based on my experience, if we go try to format it, it's not going to be successful. Okay. Do you have another thumb drive?
Yeah, sir. I have. It's loaded with Windows 11. You can format it. I'll make it again. No problem.
Okay.
I'll just put it back.
If you've got another one that we can use, let's do this, because I don't have a way to fix this one.
I'm removing that old one and putting the new one.
Okay.
Now, which is preloaded of Windows 11.
So this other one has a Windows 11 installation media on it now, and we're okay to wipe that out. Wintermute says I would use a different USB, not worth fixing. I'm of similar mind. I'm going to save mine that's damaged and eventually try that utility that Steve Gibson has, but we don't stand a chance of fixing it now. So that's it on the iDrive.
Yeah, it's an iDrive, exactly.
Okay.
iDrive.
Is that a SanDisk?
Yeah, SanDisk.
I'm just curious.
No. It's not SanDisk. It's SanDisk. Sorry, it's SanDisk. Exactly.
Do you remove the programs they have on that?
Yeah, it can be formatted, no problem.
Well, the operation of creating the new drive essentially reformats the drive, so that would wipe out whatever's on it.
No, but my point is, how can I put this? With my experience with those pen drives, they come pre-installed with something of security and things. I wipe them out. It locked a brand new drive to read only.
Okay, well that might be what happened.
Because it's I got on the SanDisk and they basically said, send it back, we'll send you another one. Yeah, well, it's going to cost me more to ship it to you.
Right.
I got a problem with those. So the other ones, I just went in right away and removed the factory installed garbage. Really, it's garbage.
That sounds like good advice. Okay, so here let's go back to other tasks and we'll do create rescue media. And go to removable USB unsupported disk. Is this also no, this I don't think this is refreshed yet. This one that you have in there now, Vittal, is it a SanDisk?
Yeah, SanDisk, sir. Yeah,
it is.
Exactly.
All right. Well, this says, this says 15 gigabytes. So yeah, it is.
16 GB.
GPT format is not supported, so it won't work because it's GPT format. See, there's no build button available.
Should I format it once again?
Let's go reformat it so we can dump the GPT.
Yeah.
It's the. Didn't it say I? Oh,
yes, sir.
Here it is. Right click. See, I'm going to left click on it first and see that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's here, Windows 11. And then format.
Yes, sir.
I think exFAT32 is the safer format to do. Do you like this volume label?
Yeah, you can remove it, sir. You can put whatever the way it's needed.
Okay, so we'll just call it Macrium Rescue. It doesn't let me do that much. I'll just put Macrium. Quick format should be fine. Format complete. Close. Back to other tasks. Create rescue media. And for a moment, it says unsupported here, but I'm going to go refresh because Macrium doesn't continually refresh. So that is on the view menu and choose refresh. And then other tasks, create rescue media. Still saying unsupported. Still says that's GPT. Oh yeah, because that's the That's the type.
Doug,
Yes.
you have to this part.
Say again?
You have to use this part.
This part, yeah. I believe that's exactly it. So go to a command prompt. I'm going to have to clean it. Disk part. Yes to the user account control. Waiting for the prompt. List disk. Disk 2 is the 14 gigabyte, so then select disk 2. Disk 2 is the selected disk. If I do list disk again, we'll get an asterisk next to disk 2, and then clean.
We are on Vittal's machine, aren't we?
Or on his instructional machine, yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, because you know that I do that sometimes.
This thing is getting so heavy, it's like a weight.
List disk. Let's see, we still got an asterisk in GPT, so we haven't, let's see, what's a command for removing GPT from that partition? Anybody know it?
What size is the partition?
14 gigabytes.
Shouldn't even let you do it.
GPT, assign attributes to the selected GPT partition. Can we just remove GPT?
Isn't there a command in Windows to do that?
Remove GPT?
To
NBR to GPT.
Convert to, we want to convert from GPT to MBR. There's a command called MBR to GPT, but I doubt that there's one going back the other way.
And they want you to go to GPT.
Yeah. Is there a way? What does disk manager say? I think disk management tells us that we can't.
Clean remove the GPT.
Say again?
The clean command
Yeah?
has to remove the GPT.
It didn't.
So something else there.
Sir, I was feeling that when you put the pen drive, it has an additional partition also in that 14 gig. So I think that is creating problem.
There's another partition?
On that, when I made Windows 11 Media using Rufus, it has created an additional partition on the pen drive. Maybe that is creating problem.
Okay. Is all the volumes visible? Oh, I'm starting to go dingbat. 15, where is it? Okay, DVD, ROM, Win10. Is this it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, this is it. Volume 2, letter H. This doesn't actually show the disk numbers, does it? It just shows volumes. So this, if there's another partition there, we wouldn't be able to see it here. It's identified as DVD-ROM. This one's identified as DVD-ROM.
Actually, this when I made Windows 11 Media, it is showing me that the label name is named as DVD-ROM like that.
Oh, it labeled it DVD-ROM. Okay.
It's not with our regular DVD-ROM which in our systems. It's a different DVD-ROM name. It itself has given when I'm making the bootable image.
Okay, what about...
Sir, should I disconnect my hard drive?
Your
passport?
Your passport?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that would remove some confusion.
Yeah.
Ooh, your computer is in need of this computer is in need of a restart for Windows updates.
No, sir, not really. It takes quite long time to get back again. Take a couple of
Yeah, but
hours.
the thing is that a lot of times when I find a computer not operating the way we expect it to, that if it's got waiting updates, restarting the computer has solved a lot of seemingly unrelated problems. I don't feel like that's what we got going on here, but we're just really struggling. How do I get help for clean? Clean help. Help clean. There we go. Removes any and all partition or volume formatting from the disk with focus. Clean all. Specifies that each and every byte sector on the disk set to 0, which completely deletes all data contained on the disk. On master boot record disk, only the MBR partitioning information sector are overwritten. On GUID partition table, which is what we have, the GPT partitioning information, including the protective MBR, is overwritten. If the all parameter is not used, the first 1 megabyte and last 1 megabyte are 0. This gives me the impression that clean does not reset the GPT designation, because it seems that clean respects the difference. Let's see, so that was, I did help clean, help GPT. Oh, that gave us quite a bit of stuff. Scrolling back up to where I did that command. Oh, geez. Lots of stuff. On basic GPT disks, assigns the GPT attribute to the partition with focus. So that GPT will assign the GPT attribute. Can we remove the GPT attribute? Attributes equals N. Syntax, GPT attributes equals N. Does this tell us that the N will clear it? Data would fail, assign drive letters, prevent the file system from mounting. Unless you are original equipment manufacturer or an IT professional experienced with GPTX, do not change GPT attributes. GPT partition must be selected for this operation to succeed. Well, that's curious. GPT partition attributes give additional information about the use of the partition. Do you have another USB thumb drive?
No, sir, I'm done with it. Only 2 I have with me.
Oh, this is... Help GPT. Remove, okay. Google, help me, Google.
I'm just curious, what put GPT on that USB drive in the first place?
When he created a Windows 10 installation image, apparently, but that shouldn't do that.
No,
No, it shouldn't do that. So Vittal, how did this thumb drive get flagged as GPT? Do you know?
I use GPT file system in Rufus. Because of that, it has become like that.
In Rufus.
Yeah.
All right.
It
So
works
at
in
some
Rufus.
point using Rufus, you selected GPT partition type.
Because my computer, which we are now in Zoom, is not recognizing the other file system. So I have used GPT. Then only the pen drive recognizes in my bootstrapper menu.
Well, then Rufus remove it.
How to remove GPT partition style from USB. I'm going to even say thumb drive. Pretty specific here. Open disk management. Delete volume. That's not going to work because the thumb drive doesn't even show up in disk management. Reset flash. I have a USB flash drive previously been used by Rufus as GPT partition. That sounds like pretty on target result. Oh gosh. I just looked at the clock. Remove GPT partition, reset flash drive back to factory settings. So this is a person asking the question. Get past the advertisements. Right click and format. Nope, that doesn't do it. On a GPT disk, I think clean and clean all typically have the same results. However, clean on MBR disk removes only the MBR partition sector information. History of Rufus. Probably use clean all. Might not be necessary. That's not really an answer. Let's scroll all the way down, see if anybody says, yes, that was the answer. What is your goal? So here, this is still questions back and forth. So the commands I listed will completely get rid of all traces GPT, including the second backup partition table at the end of the disk. There's no requirement for clean all or, so this was from SportsFan 148. So let's go up and look at, here's SportsFan 148. Disk part, list disk, select disk, clean, convert, MBR, boom, boom chakalaka. Convert MBR, create primary partition. All right, so that sounds like the one right there. Control C, copy. Enter key to get to a fresh prompt. It didn't get me to a fresh prompt, so apparently disk part doesn't behave that way. Come on. Where are you? Okay. List disk to be sure. Yeah, disk 2 is still current. We no longer have, we ejected a disk while being in disk part. I don't like that. Let's exit disk part and go back in. All right, disk part. Yes. Wait for the prompt. List disk. Still listed as disk 2. Cell E space 2. And nope. Cell E disk space 2. All right, list disk, confirm the asterisk for GPT as well. Control V for paste, nope, it doesn't paste. Let's see, we've already done the clean. I'm gonna try paste again, convert MBR. Ooh, it actually did the enter key too. Disk part selects successfully converted the selected disk to MBR format. Jeez. No longer have an asterisk in the GPT column for the USB thumb drive. Now they had some more steps in here. Do we care about that? Create partition primary, format, active, assign. Seems to me that creating the rescue media can handle all that, but I'll go ahead and do it. Triple click, shift left arrow so I don't have that extra space at the end, but that didn't work. Drag across. There, don't have the extra space. Control C, Alt tab back, Control V paste. do get to press the enter key. Disk part succeeded in creating the specified partition. Format, FAT32, quick, that all sounds good, but I still can't shift left arrow to get rid of that space at the end. Control C, Alt Tab, Control V, Enter. Successful. And when it succeeded, it automatically popped up a File Explorer window with that drive. Don't need to do active or assign. Let's exit. Alt Tab to get back to Macrium Reflect. Go to the View menu, refresh. Other tasks, create rescue media. There's removable USB, 15 gigabytes. We do have the build button now, so got rid of that unable or not compatible, whatever it was. Oh, 543 meg. It scared me for a moment. Oh boy. Now I'm gonna bring up chat. I don't see anything in orange on my computer number 3. Yeah, Wintermute SpinRite is what I was thinking of. I think it's Steve Gibson's new version of SpinRite has been able to recover damaged USB thumb drives with very much this description. Let's see, that I've seen before. No other orange. Merry Maids for helping with clean. Can we look at UISB and Disk Manager? Is it still initialized after the clean? It should not be. I'm going to take that as a typo. We meant USB in Disk Manager. Yeah, he confirms that. So that's, yeah, I'm not sure that Disk Manager accesses USB drives, does it? That media being created right now, that may make it more difficult to recognize it. Yeah, here it is. It's there.
Doug, see in the chat room a link for the Internet Explorer H.
Oh, for Internet Explorer, for that issue?
H. The issue that was with the website. There is something there that you have to do something in the internet options. See the link.
Okay. Super user, any trick to get Explorer 11 mode support, especially ActiveX plugin running on 11? My quick research result that there's supposed to be IE support. Download, yes, completely understand dev. And it, let's see what it says at the bottom. If we look like we have something successful.
Go down, scroll down.
To access non-updated default browser, searching mode left me.
Doug, scroll down.
Scroll down more.
Yes.
I'm at the
The
bottom.
answer. It's now. No. Oh, no. Up.
What you're seeing is delayed. So when you're telling me up in Zoom, I need to wait until it's stabled. I'm at the bottom now. So I'll go up just a little bit at a time. Unless you want me to go to the top and then start going down.
No, go up.
The top of my screen says an ActiveX control on this page. You want me to go up more?
I don't see. It's a delay.
Is there a word that I
Okay.
can search for?
Yes, just a minute. From 3 answers. There is a line 3 answers.
There's a line that says 3 answers, the numeral 3 and the word answers.
Yes, from there down.
Okay, here says 3 answers. From that point down. I was able to get Internet Explorer 11 mode, ActiveX working Windows 11 preview using a test page. Oh yes, test page. That was what came up in our last session. I wanted to get back to where is that test page. Because that's something that the rest of us should be able to use as testing to see if we can find a way for ActiveX to work. Because that test page is going to have some kind of ActiveX. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that. Right click, new tab. Warning, ActiveX component could not be accessed. Some features of the site may not be available with ActiveX. So if we can find something that works within Windows 11 and that test page, then that could be the solution. Now this is not even working with Chrome on Windows 10. This is my computer now we're looking at. So then what else does it say? Is that as far as I should go, Javi, or further? Could not be accessed. If you're using Internet Explorer, ActiveX may be blocked on your browser. Okay, that's exactly what we saw. In Edge, go to the 3-dot menu, search for mode, switch the toggle, allow sites reloaded in Internet Explorer. He did that. When you are on the page you wish to load, i.e. 11 mode, open 3-dot menu, go to more tools, reload. We did that. Enable ActiveX. This is what I did. Open the start menu, start typing internet options, control panel, security tab, trusted site, sites button, add your site. This panel. Oh, yeah, we didn't do that. That would be through control panel to get to that. I set the security level for trusted sites to low. All right. I'm going to say that Vittal told me he did that, but I'm not sure.
I did it, sir.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. All right. Refresh the page, prompting me to allow the ActiveX plugin. Did you get to a point where it prompted you on the government website?
Yeah.
So you did get this message?
Sir, I'm not able to see the message. If you can tell me the gist of that.
Yeah, this is be a message when you went to the government website and clicked on the button to reprint the receipt, and a pop-up message that says an ActiveX control on this page might be unsafe to interact with parts of the page. Do you want to allow this interaction? And a yes and a no button.
No, sir, I didn't got any message from our
I don't
website.
think you got to that point.
Yeah.
So, well, those could be things that we would try and document it in the video. Yes,
Doug,
go ahead.
Can you see if he had the website in the trust?
Trusted sites. Yeah, I believe he did. But we're not connected to that computer right now.
Ah, okay.
All right, so let's get back to this thumb drive. So rescue media successfully created. That's good. And then close. So now, Vittal, we're not going to be able to demonstrate this on the video because when you reboot the computer with this thumb drive, I'm not going to be able to be connected to it. But when you reboot the computer and use whatever the function key is on that computer, F9, F12, whatever it is, to do the boot selection. When you select the thumb drive, it should come up to this screen, but it'll be on the Restore tab by default. It should launch all the way into Macrium Reflect.
Okay.
So then at that point, you click on Browse for an image file, but at that point, it's going to be links over here on the right-hand side. But what you're looking for is Restore from image, Browse for image file, anything to that effect.
Okay.
When you click on that, then you'll need to maneuver to your external drive, which is disconnected right now.
Okay.
And then and select the backup file and click on Open. And then I think you'll be fine with stepping through
Yeah, comfortable, no problem. I'm
that
able to
restore
follow you.
operation. And I'm getting really tired. I'd really like to end this.
Sure, sir.
Okay, I have to leave. Good night. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, GP. All right, so come back to Zoom. I see some people have dropped out of the Zoom session. Vittal, do you have any last questions before I disconnect from that computer?
No, sir. I'll just experiment it. So far, you have given me a view how to do it. You gain clarity for me.
Okay.
So I'll work on it and I'll update you clearly.
Okay.
So that's what I thought. I'm very grateful to you. You have spent a lot of time for this. I'm extremely grateful to you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm disconnected from the computers. Let's see, it shows 11 viewers currently. The last thing in orange in chat was the link from Javi, so I'm not going to go catch up with anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. So please reach out to me again by email when you'd like to do another session.
Sure,
It's
sir.
very enjoyable, and you again brought us an interesting topic.
Thank you so much, sir. Very, very thankful to you for giving me time.
All right,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm also
Goodbye,
thankful to Gary,
goodbye,
sir.
Black Watch. Whoops. Oh, I clicked that a little too soon. My trigger finger got happy there. Sorry, I didn't mean to seem rude with that quick. Quite that quick. People were saying goodbye. So there's my email address at the bottom if you want to reach out to me for a support session or a session for whatever reason. That's the way to request it. And my free support is through these live YouTube videos. Don't really provide free support through emails or even through comments on videos. The free live support comes through, well, the free support comes through participating in these live stream videos. All right, so thanks for being with us, everybody. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.